Hey YouTube, how pretentious was that? I mean, pretty pretentious. Dark Fantasy Studios giving us there some hero music, and why not? Hi, my name's First Age. I'm back with a video. I'm not really first, whatever. Anyway, you know, so 4th edition Renaissance. I've done some videos on 4th edition, and this video is very much a complimentary one, but mostly to look at my prodigious stack of 4th edition. Oh yes, look at the girth on that, FNAF. So what is this video? This video is about looking, well, showing off the stack, see what I actually got, talk a bit about how to get into the game, which titles to buy, something about the content of the titles. Is it a primer for buying? Not really, not necessarily. Maybe it's me just showing off the big stack of 4th edition. Bit of both, perhaps. But yeah, hopefully that's useful to you, and probably the things that you absolutely probably do need to play the game, other than, you know, I don't know, some friends maybe. It might help, but whatever. So that's what it's going to be. So just a quick tour around. So that's it. Right. So let me transition to another thing, which will give us a bit of a main view, and I'll start going through the books, and I've got them in kind of an order. So they're stacked logically. In a very sort of logical, positivist kind of way. Let me just transition. Hello, sorry about that. Right, the stack. I'm going to start working through it. Now, panic ye not, for verily there is a huge stack here, and I'm not going to go through every single one and sort of read it to you. But what I am going to do is I'm going to spend a bit of time just talking about the general sequence and why I got the things that I did. Other than after a while, I just splurged in a sort of Pokemon, I must have them all completist kind of way. Although I very clearly don't have them all. There are a lot more titles out there. But I've kind of stopped for a while. I might start again. I'm not, you know, don't hold me. And don't criticise me, please. Right, so where do you start? You start with the Player's Handbook. Yes, lovely. So I just got this. I thought, oh, go on then, 4th edition. It's awful, isn't it? And I opened it up and I thought, no, it's not awful. It's brilliant. I think, you know, we're all different, aren't we? So what I like about 4th edition, well, one of the many things, and I've talked about it before in videos, so I won't take too long, is the clarity in the way it's set out. I like white space. I like clear exposition. I think this is actually a sort of mastercraft in layout. It's really, really good. Now, a lot of 4th edition has individual powers or exploits, or however you want to call them, depending on which powers you're using. And they're very, very, very clearly laid out there. It's just an example. And obviously, being at the Player's Handbook, players are at least in part defined by those amazing things they can do, those powers that they can do. So it's beautifully done. As I say, the layout is really crisp, bright, and stands out. Beautiful. So I actually went with the Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster Manual, the classic 3 as a start. You can't get all of those. I'm not sure if you can get any of them. You might be able to get some of them on Drive-Thru or DM's Guild as pod, print on demand. I went to the second-hand market and got my copies there. Now, you can start in a number of ways. I think getting this trilogy is to be honest, at the end of the day, largely all that you need, except of course it's not. All I would suggest is, yes, you can look at errata. So there are files out there that's got the errata that were built up over the life cycle of the game, over the 4 or 5 years it was in print cycle. You probably don't need to apply very much of it. It plays perfectly fine without it. But nevertheless, you can have a look at that just to see some of the changes. Now, this was the first of 3 Player's Handbooks. If we don't count Essentials, I'll come back to Essentials. Essentials are not essential, by the way. So you get a subset. So let me just remind myself what you get in here. So you get a subset of the races, as they're called, or perhaps ancestries, as we might call them now. But you don't get all of them. And interestingly enough, you don't get all the classes either. But you do get quite a lot. So you get Dragonborn, Dwarf Eladrin, High Elves, Elves, Halflings, a subject in being small, humans, why not? And tieflings. So your pressing favourite fantasy race is probably not there. But you've got a lot to go on. And then the character classes, you've got your classics of cleric, fighter, paladin, ranger, rogue, warlock, warlord, and wizard. Plus equipment, adventuring, how to do combat encounters and how to use skills, rituals, and lots of, I think, magic items as well, which I think surprise people. Is that right? I think it is. So there's a lot to go on in the player's handbook. You get essentially the core game there. You can pretty much play the game with just this. So where am I going to put my stack? I'll put it over here. I could break a table with this stack. I tell you, it's incredible. The other two that I got, well, I went for the Dungeon Master's Guide, thinking, well, do I need it? I don't know. But go on. I must get the three. And it's, the layout is, the other nice thing about the core line is the layout is all incredibly consistent. It's a consistent look and feel. As far as I'm concerned, they got it absolutely right. And so they stuck with it, at least till Essentials, Essentials are nice as well. I'll talk about Essentials. Do you need the Dungeon Master's Guide? My suggestion to you, and slightly my surprise, was I would say absolutely get this. And I may have got Dungeon Master's Guide 2 as well, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Get this, because it talks about non-combat encounters and how to roll them, basically how to use the game in other settings, how you run the game, how to run combat encounters, lots of advice on that, how you build encounters. So it gives you, it's the first introduction to the fantastic way that 4th edition can help you build an encounter. It just kind of works, it really works. Adventures, rewards, campaigns, something about the game world and the cosmology of 4th edition, which I think again is genius. It cuts it down, it makes it all really playable. Actually, you can engage with the cosmology, DM's toolbox, and then an introductory setting set in Fallcrest, which is a re-emerging town after the collapse of Narath, up in Nentir Vale, and the Points of Light setting. The thing I found about the Dungeon Master's Guide is actually it's got quite a lot in here that you would want to dig into if you're a Dungeon Master. Clues in the name. How to handle things like diseases, additional rules, cover. So it does what it says on the tin, to be honest. How you can customize monsters and how you create your own monsters and stuff like that. Really, really well set out. Superb book. And of course, the final one in the trilogy. So grab this, is the Monster Manual, and it's got your classics in it. I have applied, or I typically apply, or I think about applying the later maths that was introduced to the game. Now it doesn't do it does a bit to sort out your very higher level monsters. It basically gives them a little bit less, I think, on the hit points, and it certainly ups their damage. It makes them a little bit more dangerous, and it speeds up combat. You don't notice it on the lower levels, you notice it on some of the higher tiers of play. Not difficult to apply at all. And the Monster Manual is, well, it's beautiful, and you can't live without a good gibbering orb. That's what I'm going to tell you. A level 27 solo controller, 55,000 experience points. Thank you very much. And it's only got 1,200 hit points. Now, you could say that that's a critique of the game, that when you get to higher levels, it's a bit of a grind. I haven't got there yet. I don't know what a level 27 controller might have under the Monster Manual 3 maths. It might be less. It might even be more. I don't know. I think the idea was they cut down on the hit points a little bit. You're dishing out a fair amount of damage at that point anyway, because you are probably running at the epic tier. And so goodness knows what you're dishing out. Anyway, So that's the 3. You can play the game with the 3 really, really well. Worth applying, probably. Yeah, maybe some errata. I don't really know about that. Monster Manual 3 Maths, think about that, because it does affect your encounters. And you're off. Now, obviously those 3 titles. Those 3 titles are available to you on DM's Guild in PDF. I haven't checked the pricing. I'm not looking now, because that'd be embarrassing. But you can probably get the 3 titles in PDF form for, well, shy of about 25 quid, probably. If you wanted to get the hard copies, I don't know which one. I think maybe one of them might be available in print on demand. Bizarrely, and I've said this before, come on, put all 3 of these in print on demand, make them a bundle. And I think they sell like hotcakes, frankly. But as it is, you can't quite do that. So I went to the second-hand market. So I decided to go with the core line, and I will look at essentials probably towards the end, because actually when I came into 4th edition, I didn't know what essentials were, and that was a problem for people who were in 4th edition at the time. Well, what are essentials? Are they essential? Does it mean that the rest of my books don't work anymore? No. But you know, questions were asked. So what did I get next? Well, I decided to go for the other 2 players' handbooks. It's all about the players, isn't it? At the end of the day, really, and the options that they have. And so each of these players' handbooks basically build out your options. So what do you get? You get a diva in the players' handbook 2, which isn't quite what you're expecting. I was expecting some sort of, I don't know what I was expecting really. I was kind of expecting maybe some sort of Hollywood sort of actress who was a bit sort of, I want square cucumber sandwiches. But sadly not. You got something different. But you get divas, you get gnomes, you get Goliaths. You get your half-orc. I know, I hear you. That's what you were waiting for that. You got a shifter. I haven't done nothing with shifters. Shifters, they probably can't half-shift, I would have thought. And so you get a range of other races. I'm intrigued now by shifters. You see, I'm fairly new to the game. Paragon paths, nice. Shifters, ferocious heirs of the wild, the perfect fusion of civilized race and wild beast. Oh, that kind of shifting. Okay. Yeah. I might play one. I never get to play. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and of course, because it is a player's handbook, you get a whole series of additional classes, and that was again another draw to it. So what do you get? You get the Avenger, the Barbarian, nice, Bard, Druid, Invoker, Shaman, Sorcerer, Warden. Some really nice classes in here, actually. I've seen a Warden in play. One of my players is playing a Warden. They're a bit ace. Sorcerer, I've got a weakness for Sorcerers. I'm playing a Sorcerer in 5th edition, which is kind of simple, wild, and I think probably the Sorcerer's a striker in this game, as in they're there to deal out lots of eldritch damage. The Avengers sort of sort of brooding. The Barbarian, well, you can't do without a Barbarian, can you? Well worth getting. Underlying powers that sort of source your capabilities includes Primal, Arcane, and Divine Heroes. Bit of Primal in here. And again, beautifully laid out. So I did go for the other handbooks. They were my next purchases. And I got the Player's Handbook 3, which goes into all the psionic stuff as well, doesn't it? Yeah, Psionic, Divine, and Primal. Again, do you know, it's like history. You know, you sort of pick out things that were kind of real in 2009. It's like a holding history. Searching for a little more D&D info. Don't look for it now, it's not there. The new universe of the D&D community. Explore it. Sadly, they've taken it down. But the community lives on. Hello. Ardent Battle Mind, Monk, Scion, Rune Priest. I know people who swear blindly after Rune Priests. Love them. Seekers. I haven't played all these. hybrid characters, more character options, more feats. Of course, all of these will take you wildly into sort of paragon tiers and epic destinies and so on. I mean, it's all the usual wonderful, beautiful stuff. I wanted all of it, all of the time. So I got the 3 players handbooks. I did it. I went for it. So that's awesome. I did go for all the monster manuals as well. I just did. I thought, good, I'll have a look. And again, you know, it's kind of more of the same, if you like. Why is it? It's always blobs when I pick it. Look at what have I got here? I've got a pod demon. Yeah, a pod demon. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Level 15 elite artillery. Generate pod spawn. Spew pod spawn. Charming. Fling pod spawn. It's all about the pod spawn. And yeah, it's got pods of spawn that I just love it. As you know, well, if you don't know, you should know, the monster design in 4th edition is just like awesome. They've all got really cool interactive powers. They do amazing things. They're always a surprise, you know, until you've met them 5 times. Kind of more of the same. So yeah, okay, I went for this Monster Manual 2. Yeah, I went for Monster Manual 3. I think my experience of buying second-hand was this one's a real bugger to get hold of. I looked everywhere. You can buy it, but the prices, I mean, good luck to you. Good luck to you. It's well worth having, by the way. It's gorgeous. The prices were, I felt a bit out of my comfort zone, I'm going to say. Out of my comfort zone. So what did I do? This is new, available on Pod, on DM's Guild, for a song. I mean, a longish song, but a song. So I got it in print and demand. So it's softback rather than hardback. It is all here. It's a delight to read, and it's still utterly gorgeous. And I have an Adept of Orcus. Ghouls, I'll have you know. And this has got the Monster Manual 3 maths in, because it is the Monster Manual 3. So this is all the corrected maths, which you can, of course, apply in the other ones, wherever they are. And of course, if you don't get this, then you don't get a Thune Hulk. Gotta have a Thune Hulk. Gorgeous. Beautiful book. Yeah, you know, throw some nymphs at your characters. I think that you should do that. And when they're getting a bit glib, you can give them an intellect devourer. They've all got some of the great sort of godlike beings. This is Lolth. We've got a Cacodemon and Orcus, I think, are the other ones. So, you know, there's a lot of Underdark horrors in here, and elementals, shadow blades, elder earthquake dragons. Endless fun. So I did get the other monster manuals. I wanted the bestiary collection and I wanted the player collection. You know, I've glutted on options. I went for options. None of this makes the game any more complicated. It's like a lot of these things. Call them splat books if you like. They basically make the game sing and have that rich variety of options. One of the best titles, and not remotely necessary. Dungeon Master Guides 2. Having been so enamoured with the beauty of the first Dungeon Master's Guide, I got the second one. They didn't do a third one. I think there was talk of doing a third one, presumably focused. The third one would have focused on epic tiers, and on the epic tier, 21 to 30 levels. This has got some stuff on running Paragon campaigns. So when you get to your level 11, your heroes are, well, they're kind of heroes from first level because it's 4th edition, but this gives you lots of guidance on Paragon campaigns. It takes you to Sigil, and you become that little bit multiplanar. You sort of step lightly away from the material plane and start making a nuisance of yourself throughout that beautifully designed cosmology. How do you customize monsters? Probably the best guidance on some of the best guidance on skill challenges, although I'll come to essentials in a minute. It covers it pretty well. At some point, I'm probably ought to do a video on skill challenges and how I do them. Everyone does them slightly differently. You speak to some very experienced DMs, and they say, "Well, I just don't like them. I can't use them. I've never done a good one." I think they're great, and they work pretty well. So we're all different, aren't we? We're all individuals, says the Python. Lovely book. I would say unnecessary, but it's got some great guidance in there. I mean, between the two DMs guides, it's got some of the best role-playing guidance I've seen. It talks about the sort of types of players you might get and how you can draw on their strengths. It's really good. Really, really good. So, the main 3 books, bit of monster manuals. You might want to go for the player's handbooks. They're, as I say, all available in DM's Guild in PDF if you want to sort of dip in and use all the options. Now, I'm not particularly advocating the grey side of what you can get, but I do hear on the grapevine that the character builder, the offline character builder, is available in corners of the internet, and that has all the options on it as well. But I think a truism is even if you can somehow get digital copies of a way to build characters using all the options, I mean, these books are just beautiful, and I'm probably not helping the second-hand pricing, but you can still get some of these at really, really good prices, and they're just I like books. What can I say? I'm old. Still like books. Probably more than VHS. What else did I do? Well, we're heading into kind of essentials timing, but I did get wow, Heroes of Shadow. This one is another tricky one to get hold of. I don't know how I got hold. How did I get hold of this one? Well, I obviously bought it. I must have found it eventually at a price. I think it was sub £20, which is pretty good. 20 UK pounds. This provides you with more options, more players' options. It's got the shadow classes in here, so this is very much Underdarky. Ooh, you are players of shadow. It's sort of the naughtiness. Blackguards instead of paladins. I'm a dark brooding paladin. Assassins. I'd like to be an executioner, please. Would you? Yeah, all right. I fancy. I've watched Twilight. I want to sparkle. Can I be a vampire? No. Well, you can. It's in here. Warlock. Races of Shadow. Here we go. Eladrin, but wearing a lot of black. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not selling it to you. Shadow magic, etc. It's really good, actually. It's really nice. I'm heading into periphery territory, but I did get this. This one's. Is this? I think it's Illuminati will shout at me, but I think this is one of the later titles. I can actually look at the date, can't I? We were heading towards the sort of sad end at this stage. I can't find a date on it. You'll have it. There you go. 2011. No, there's some more to come. Maybe it was this one. Now, Heroes of the Feywild, I struggled to find online. So what did I do? I podded. This is available on Pod, and it's gorge. It's a gorgeous book. This might be unnecessary, but this might be my favourite title. I'm halfway down the stack. I'm doing well, so don't worry. It's coming. Yeah. So it's got the Feywild in here. It's I want to play. Where was it? I want to be a pixie, please. You could be a pixie. Can I be a shadow pixie? No. Oh, go on. I want to be a satyr. All right. Can I be a barbarian? Yeah, of course you can. Feywild, Feydark, Fey. I am slightly elf-like. Right. So that's everything, surely. Not quite. So where did I go to next? I'm not sure. I'm starting to wonder if really this is my sequence, but this was me logically ordering them, having splurged. So sometimes titles just flew in. Oh, good, I've got Martial Powers 7. There's no. Anyway, so I got the. Yes. More options. So these are power books. They expand fundamentally. They expand your options. Arcane power, primal powers, more options for barbarians, druids, shamans, and wardens. Martial powers for your fighters and your fighter types. In fact, I was so excited about that when I got it twice by mistake. No, you can't have it. Divine power. Divine power. Awesome. But you know, they're all good. What do they do for you? Well, they do, as I say, they even martial powers too. There's so many martial powers. They wanted to say yeah to your spellcaster. No, we love fighters, so we're going to give you even more options. You know, more paragon paths, more powers that you can express in play. I want to be a Blood Fury Hunter, please. Oh, go on then. Go on then. You can be a Blood Fury Hunter or a Dark Strider. Yeah. Do you want to be an Eladrin Shadow Dark Strider? Yeah. Oh, right then. Go on then. Loads more wonderful powers. I don't know about the glut of powers. Where I think there are some of the powers you'll find in here. Maybe just frankly, build-wise, that bit better than what you might find in the Player's Handbook originally. So I think Brute Strike got shuffled to the side, where someone could do everything a Brute Strike could do, but shift people around and stuff. Even now, the aficionados are shouting at the power name that I'm trying to think of. But it's basically got lots more options. What does it do? New feats, new combat styles. They were nice. Martial backgrounds, and of course your epic destinies. Could I be a star-favoured champion, please? Yeah, you can. You can with this anyway. So I'm going to break the table on this side, by the way. Sorry, if I'm starting to get a bit worried about the weight, but whatever. It is a big weight of books. So I just went, yeah, got. Pokemon, gotta have them all. Again, if you do happen to have the character builder, then all the options I think that are in here, and indeed some of the options that I think came into some of the sort of Dungeon or Dragon magazines of the time, are available to you. It's a big stack. You only need the 3 books to play the game. And you can start there and build out. I will talk a bit about the final titles that I've got. Did I say final? Is there ever a final? The 4th edition for me, there probably isn't ever a final. And there are people producing titles now, so it's not dead. I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't remember that. I met somebody on Twitter, and they're about to publish a new title for 4th edition, and I'd like to do the same, probably next year. What do you fancy? Power books, adventures? I fancy adventures. I might write an adventure or 2 for 4E and find a way that I can express it legally and publish it. Can be a bit difficult with the GSL and the fact that they didn't open the game up, which is a real shame, because just do it. Just do that, so you make it. If you're listening, they won't be listening. Can you just open the game up for us so we can play it much easier? And then start to express ourselves in 4th edition, because we won't get in the way of 5th edition. It's enormous. I did buy some other things, so very quickly, I say very quickly, where are we up to? 30 minutes, sorry, it's taking a bit longer. It's a big stack, but I went planar, so for your paragons and others, you can explore. So I got some of the, I suppose, setting books. I want to say I haven't got Neverwinter. That's brilliant, and I need to get that one. And there's there are some more setting books. You can get Eberron, and you can get sort of Dark Sun and other things. But I went for the planes because I thought I could more readily use them. They're great. These books are great. Do you need them? No, you don't need them. I'm into definitely pod. I think some of the pods are actually hardback. I went softback because they're great. Githyanki Sky Pirates, don't you think? I think so, don't you? I think definitely you do. So you can play Githyanki Sky Pirates, and you can start flying about and doing Paragon stuff. And I haven't, as either as a DM or a player, I haven't physically got there. My group are going to hit, or might be 4th level, might be 3rd. I'm nowhere. I'm nowhere. And we've had 5 months of the most intense and fantastic role play. Deep in character role play and action. A lot of action. Leveraging this stack, which you can't see now because it's hidden behind my thing. I found the plane above, the Astral Sea, an awesome title. It's making my voice break. Manual of the Planes is a good primer. Adventure through planar portals, it claims. Use this with core titles, the ones I've mentioned, including, of course, dungeon tiles. You don't need dungeon tiles, especially if you're online, because they're all there. How do you navigate the planes? It talks about the overall cosmology, which was, I think, probably one of the best expressions of the cosmology, some of the most playable. And it's all playable stuff. You've got the Grast, people who are going to get in your way, monsters of the plains. It's just places that you can go to on the plains. But I think the key thing for me for 4th edition is they're not going to make it just airy places that are conceptualized in some kind of platonic ideal. No. These are going to be adventure locations which your Paragon heroes are going to rush to and make a difference, not only in the prime sort of material kind of world, but up here, or indeed down below. Down below. I'm going to save that one for a moment. Speaking of down below, here's the plane below. I thought, go on. I mean, once you get up to wherever you are, you can fly above, well, you can fly below. And you can get yourself into all sorts of really quite horrendous places. Again, more races, giants, titans, archons. It's just beautifully done. Again, with powers, all setting up for more adventures, but this time in places that you probably don't really want to go to, especially into the abyss. I wouldn't recommend it for your holidays. Plus, big things that are pulling the strings behind the scenes. Egor, Lord of Entropy. You're probably not going to sort of start tackling him until. Shall we have a quick look at Egor, Lord of Entropy? Go on, 105th page, 156. Let's have a quick go. I'm nearly there, but I do want to share with you Egor. That probably isn't how you pronounce him. Sorry, Egor. Well, he's a big lad. Scale-wise, he's a big lad. Look at the mountains. There he is. He's a level 26 elite soldier, apparently. No, 336 hit points. Now you see there. Now you're talking. What was the other one? It was 20. It was about 1,200 hit points. I think maybe they've got their act together here. Level 26 artillery. This is as high as you go. 189 hit points. This has probably almost certainly got Monster Manual 3 maths. I'm navigating. I'm navigating on the fly here. 2009. Don't know actually. Don't know. Someone will tell me. Anyway, enormous. The Underdark is awesome. It just sits below the prime material plane. It's a place that probably just into the heroic tier, but certainly into the Paragon tier. You'd be going there. The shallows, the depths, new monsters, and the Feydark, that sort of shadowy version of the Fey, and indeed the Shadow Dark. This was really nicely done. If you want to find nefarious foes that are lying just beneath the surface, and indeed their cities, and more, then this was a great title. Again, I podded this because I thought, you know what, I really want this. I'm not sure how easy that one was to get. 2 titles left. Keep on the Shadowfell. I thought I ought to get some sort of adventure for it. I just thought I'd see what they were like. Nicely done in a folio with some battle mats. I've been playing entirely online. So I haven't physically used this book, and I haven't gone to the Keep on the Shadowfell. I did wonder about, how do I start my D&D career in 4th edition as a DM? Maybe I'll use this. In the end, I didn't. People do. Good old Keep on the Shadowfell, as I've heard it expressed. Almost the final title before I head to Essentials and talk a bit about Essentials. Lots of great third-party products are available as well. I have dallied on the idea of running a game set in the Midgard setting, Cobalt Press's Midgard setting. I've got some PDFs as well for Midgard. The Bestiary for 4th edition, as part of the open design. This was really excellent. This was really excellent. I mean, just, superbly done. So a broader range of monsters, I guess. I've got quite a stack of them now, but there's always more, isn't there? And I thought if I was gonna run something in Midgard, let's just have a look at the specifics of the Midgard beasts, including, of course, because it's Midgard. Let me just get that in the right place. Gearforged. So there's the Gearforged in here as well. Zobek Legionnaires, level 5 soldiers. Of course, having the triggered action, Clockwork Resilience. Gorgeous. So that's my stack. Essentials. The Essentials line, I'd already decided weren't essential. Having said that, with this new format where they put in sort of, I think 2010ish, they started to pump these out. You can play 4th edition with just, I would suggest, the rules compendium. Of all the books I've got, probably the most useful is the rules compendium. It's a full expression of the 4th edition game, in a really nice format. It is, a paperback format. It preserves the clean design though. So I was happy because, it's got that clean design look about it. So you've got effectively the rules compendium. I would suggest you get, if you're only getting essentials, get yourself the Monster Vault. This is a really great expression of 4th edition monsters, but expressed with the new maths and all put together really well. So you want to go to Giant Kind, for example. You got your giants. Nicely put together. Brutes. Level 16 Brute, the Earth Titan. You don't want to face the Earth Titan. Slams at 4d10 plus 8 damage. At will. I suspect it's at will, it does it a lot. Really well done. So you've got that, and then you've got effectively 2 players' handbooks. To give you a range of classes and races and so on, and powers. So they say that the Essentials classes are slightly simpler to play. I don't know. You can, as I've said before, you can intermix the core game and the Essentials game really easily. So I thought I'd get it just. Well, by then I was hooked, So I decided to get the Essentials line as well. Some people swear by the Essentials classes and enjoy playing them, and they do play out slightly differently with their recharges, and I don't need daily powers because I'm an Essentials character, that sort of stuff. Your knights and your slayers and so on, looking at the fighter types that you get. Would I recommend Essentials over the core game, or would I recommend the core game over Essentials? Well, I got both, and you can play the game with either. It's just just as awesome. If anything, probably I'm going to say that I prefer the core game slightly. That's where I started, and I like the way that they express the game in that. The book that I pick up the most is the Essentials Rules Compendium. It's a really nice expression. You've got your skills challenges in here as well, expressed again. That's my stack. That's my tour round 4th edition. You can get it in all the usual places. As I say, DM's Guild if you want to get it fresh and get some pod. I went to some of the second-hand market places that you can find online to find them. I'd suggest shopping around is the main thing. Do shop around. That's what I've done. Hope that's been a nice tour for you. Had a quick look at 4th edition, the stack that I bought. I've got the feeling I may have another few more titles. There's some awesome titles not on here, by the way. I'm trying to think of the name of some of them. There's some beautiful books that I've got the sudden feeling, having done this video, I may have them upstairs. In which case, I'm not showing you the full stack. There's 1 or 2 more. But certainly, I think that my basic message is you almost can't go wrong. I mean, I think get the 3. You can sometimes get the 3 in a binded elite volume. That's kind of fine. But whatever you do, as I say, get those 3 and get playing. But the key thing is to get playing. I always say that. Please, get kind of get playing. Whatever you do. There's lots of stuff going on online. There are fourth edition online conventions popping up now. So people are enjoying the game and playing the game, which is really what's important. Beautiful books, well laid out. Literally years of play. And I'm arriving kind of, I don't know, what are we talking? 11, 12 years too late, 13 years too late. It's never too late. Would recommend you pick up some of the titles and start going. If you want to dip in, get those 3 in PDF form and have a good read of them. But there's nothing quite like these books. They're gorgeous. Okay, that'll do for now. Take care and enjoy 4th edition.